my name's Barclay and I work for VetCT as consultant in imaging of animals. So I've worked with imaging of animals for a while and my background is actually in human radiography to start with, and I've worked in that particular field for quite a while. I took up a job working in the veterinary field due to my interest and the challenge that it provided. I felt that I had skills that I could bring from the human world into the animal world, and I've learned as much from that particular experience as I have brought to it. So I hope to be able to help everybody who interacts with VetCT in terms of how they actually acquire their images, how they can improve on those, and make the experience of working with VetCT a really beneficial one. It not only benefits the radiologists that look at the images, as well as yourselves when you can actually interact as a team. My interest in veterinary imaging is one that comes out of both research as well as also the practical side of things. Here in Australia, as you probably worked out from my accent, there are certain states where it's required for people operating particularly CT machines and ones with high radiation doses to be actually qualified radiographers, and that's sort of how I came into being in this experience. But it's not just those areas that I like to look at. I'm interested in all aspects of imaging in terms of veterinary diagnosis, pathology, those sort of interactions that we have both with the patients we work with, as well as also the beneficial experiences we provide for the owners of those pets. Working with animals does have great advantages. I love working with animals. I have many pets in my own home, both dogs, cats and rabbits, a typical menagerie for anyone who works sort of in that veterinary field. I think that there's a huge scope for improving how we do things in veterinary imaging. I think there's a lot we can take not only from the human world of doing things, but also in trying to enhance just how we go about the very day-to-day aspects. It's been a very interesting 12 months across the world with COVID-19. And both I, as well as many other people, including yourselves, have had to adjust their working environments to be able to cope with that. When COVID first came to Australia, we had to think about how we were going to change the way we operated at the hospital I worked. One of the main things we did was split ourselves into two teams. That way, if anybody became sick, the other team could continue on with the vital work while the other team, who possibly may have been infected, stay isolated and recover so that they didn't spread it to anybody else. We found that quite a challenge because obviously a lot of the people you work with you didn't see for a great period of time. But it was also an interesting period in terms of having still large numbers of animals coming in to the hospital for treatment, and I actually found that a lot of the patients that we were getting were being observed much more closely by their owners because they were actually with them all day and every day. So a lot of the things that maybe they might have missed were actually being picked up on and they were seeking treatment. Of course, we had to go through a lot of the processes where the clients couldn't actually come into our institution. They had to transfer their patients, or their pets I should say, across to our vets, both whether it be an emergency situation or for a consult out in the car park. They were then brought into the hospital and we treated them from there. The other thing that's been a really interesting outcome, and it's not unique to Australia where I work, is that there has been a sure increase in the amount of pets being uptaken by people due to obviously general loneliness and wanting to have a companion there. So I really hope that you take up the opportunities to work closely with VetCT to become one of our valued clients and one of our champions. I certainly look forward to providing you with as much help as I can, and I look forward to interacting with you on a weekly basis and helping you achieve where you want to be.